All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to tackle one of the most common and honestly one of the most powerful numbers in the entire business world, the Net Promoter Score.
So, have you ever stopped and wondered how companies seem to know exactly how you feel about them? I mean, it's not magic, right? Well, it all starts by measuring your experience, and believe it or not, they have a whole science dedicated to doing just that.
All right, so to really get our heads around NPS, we've got to zoom out first and look at the big picture. Let's dive into the world of customer metrics. This is basically the science of how businesses try to quantify, your whole experience with them.
So what are customer metrics? Well, to put it simply, they're the tools businesses use to translate your feedback, all of it, your opinions, your frustrations, your praise, into cold, hard data they can actually do something with. It's really all about understanding the why behind what you buy. And you gotta remember, these aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. No way. They're clues, like a window into how you think and feel. For a company, this is gold. It helps them pinpoint what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and ultimately figure out how to build a better experience for you.
Okay, so how do they actually go about measuring all this stuff? Well, let's open up what we can call the satisfaction toolkit. Seriously, you can think of it like a doctor's bag, but instead of checking your pulse, these tools are for checking the health of a company's relationship with its customers. And inside this toolkit, you'll find a few key metrics. What's really interesting is that while they all seem to measure customer satisfaction, each one is actually designed to ask a slightly different question. They each give you a different piece of the puzzle. Okay, so let's break these down. You've got CSAT, which is like a quick snapshot. It checks in on one specific thing, like a support call. Then there's CES, which is all about effort. How easy or how difficult was it for you to get something done? And then you've got NPS. This one takes a big step back and looks at the whole picture, your overall loyalty to the brand.
But out of all those tools in the kit, there is one that has become the undisputed star of the show, and that is the Net Promoter Score, or NPS. So let's decode this thing. What makes it so powerful? And why do so many companies live and die by this one number? I'm willing to bet you have been asked this exact question dozens, maybe hundreds of times, right? After you buy something, after a flight, maybe after a customer service call. It's everywhere. And this one simple, almost emotionally driven question, well, it's the heart of the entire NPS system. So what happens after you answer? Well, the process behind the curtain is actually a really simple three-step formula. And what it does is pretty amazing. It's designed to take thousands, even millions of individual opinions and just boil them all down into a single, clear number. One number that any business can understand and track. So, based on that score you give, from 0 to 10, you get sorted into one of three groups. It's pretty straightforward. If you give a 9 or a 10, you're a promoter. You're basically an enthusiastic fan. If you score a 7 or an 8, you're a passive. You're satisfied but not really loyal. And anything from a 0 to a 6, that flags you as a detractor, an unhappy customer. And the difference between these groups? Oh, it is absolutely stark. Promoters, they're like a company's free marketing department. They're out there telling their friends and family, hey, you gotta check this out. Detractors, though, they can actively harm a brand's reputation, warning people to stay away. And the passives? Well, they're just kind of there, neutral.
Okay, so how do they get to the final score? Here's the calculation, and it's surprisingly simple. They take the percentage of promoters and they subtract the percentage of detractors. That's it. Now you might have noticed they completely ignore the passives, which is a key part of the formula. The final score is just your biggest fans minus your most unhappy customers. So let's put some numbers to this. Imagine a company finds that 68% of their customers are promoters. Great. And only 13% are detractors. So you just do the math, 68 minus 13 gives you a Net Promoter Score of 55. And just so you know, that score can technically range all the way from -100 to a perfect 100. Okay, so we have a score, 55. But so what? A number on its own is pretty meaningless unless it actually drives action, right? So now let's connect the dots and see how this one number can impact a company's strategy and, most importantly, its bottom line.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Take a look at this. 5 to 25 times. That's how much more it can cost to get a brand new customer in the door compared to just keeping an existing one happy. That is a huge difference.
And that is why NPS is so critical.
It's basically a powerful indicator of how well you're retaining your customers. Think about it. Serving those repeat customers doesn't just lower your costs. It gives you this huge, long-lasting competitive advantage. Keeping customers happy isn't just a nice-to-have. It's the secret sauce for sustainable, profitable growth.
So you see, a good NPS score isn't just some trophy a company can hang on the wall to feel good about themselves. No, it's more like a compass. It helps them track if their marketing is actually working. It helps them predict how customers might react in the future. It really guides all sorts of decisions to help them become smarter and more focused on, well, you.
All right, let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway here? Why should any of this matter to you, the customer? I mean, it's just some internal business score, right?
Well, here's why it matters. It's because this simple little number encourages companies to do something absolutely fundamental: to listen, to learn from what you're saying, and to constantly try to improve. It creates this amazing cycle, a direct line from your opinion straight into their strategy meetings.
So, the next time one of those surveys pops up and asks you to rate a company from 0 to 10, just remember, your score isn't really just a number. It's your voice. It's a vote for the kind of experience you want to have. So what story will your number tell? That's all for this explainer. Thanks for watching.